our lives along the way. And I've really learned a little bit about your story. I think in one of your speeches, you said that the people that have impacted you is your dad and a businessman and also one of your teachers, right?
Yes.
Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yes. Um, I would like to share more. Like my mother, yes, has been like the one who shared from who mentored me in my spiritual journey. But because this is in the business space, I want to share more about my dad. I grew up in my native country, South Africa, and I grew up in a business family. My dad was a businessman. She had a business, a general store. He's also a farmer as well. So I grew up in that space. So he also told me. So being in like in the developing countries, there are many challenges that you always are facing, and some of those is people from low income communities, people who don't really poverty is a reality in one of these communities that we come from. So with being that kind of a privileged person who has food on the table, who get quality education, to healthcare access, to a good lifestyle. So he also entrenched in us so that we don't want to be kind of people who are living in this community where poverty is a reality and there's this glaring inequalities, and be removed from that. So we raised in effect in this, he always entrenched in us, especially me as a firstborn child, to say, to whom much is given, much is required. It means that being born into a certain family wherein you have more privileges, it is a privilege that you must embrace it, and also with the mindfulness that not many people are having that privilege. So do your part to give to those who are less fortunate. So it has that ripple effect of being kind, of being empathy, of being compassionate, and being aware of your environment. So, and also in the business science, it told me that you need to understand business because money runs the world. You need to understand how money works, how business works. So embrace that business mindset and financial acumen. No people who are making success in their lives. It's 1% of the global wealth. It goes to people who have really invested a lot in their financial journey. So him has inspired me in that space, and that led me to studying also not only my undergraduate in politics, international politics, but also to pursue a postgraduate and MBA in business administration, because for you to succeed in any field, you need to be a specialist in that field. So part of that, there's no substitute for formal education. And you can also then build your knowledge and make that formal education into something great, into what you want to become in the future. So that's how
Wow.
it inspired me. And he also said, just briefly for you, he said, there is no limit to what I can be, to what I can become, to where I can be. My dad was never traveled internationally, never got a master's in business administration, but he invested in me so that I can believe in myself. Said, I'm giving you what I have, my skills, but it's up to you to define the life that you have. Find your vision, find your purpose, go into the world and serve the world with your gift. And here I am now, based in the United States, and really trying to find my space, and also not only in the business space, but in the philanthropy, giving it back, making a difference, being mindful of those other people as well who have paid it forward for us. They never lived their life, but they were hoping that when we live that life, we'll always lift other people along our journey as well.
Wow. Lifting people along our journey. You said something now that is very powerful. To whom much is given, much is required. A version of this that my dad would always say was, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Mm.
And usually, I can remember when I was much younger, when this statement comes, it's usually it's time for another spanking with words or with actual physical touch. But but
Mm.
in the light of mentoring, I think I kind of understand. I have a different understanding of what that means now. Is that you have been given something, and from what you've been given, you can always share your knowledge. You